Greetings. My name is Vicki Lynn, and I am a spiritual medium, energy healer, crystal goddess, and a grandmother, and a storyteller. And that's because I like to teach others by sharing my experiences, which are pretty amazing, and just to help others to see what they can tap into. So I did a talk recently in Anchorage at a spiritual center called the Adam Center. It's a nonprofit organization. And the topic was about how Mother Earth and Spirit and the universe communicates with us. And it really, doing the talk, really made me feel about how important it was to get more stories, more information, and more of my experiences out there. And in the hopes that it'll help others to be more aware of what's available to us, what's around us, how the universe communicates with us. So I'm going to start doing little videos and sending them out there. And if it resonates with you, great. If not, move on. I'm okay with that. But if it resonates with you and you like it, I do ask that you like and share it. The more you like it, there is an algorithm, so it gets out there to others. And really the whole purpose of this is I really feel like it's important to help people wake up to the more that's out there. And there's so much more out there, you guys. There's so much more. We get caught up in, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say in the crap that's going on around the world. And even I sometimes get caught up, and then I remember, 1 degree shift. What am I really wanting to create? So I'm going to start today's story off with, we have many times that we get activated, and it's up to us whether we move forward with that activation. And one of my activations was many, many years ago. I'm going to say over 20 years ago, well over 20 years ago. And this is when I would go to, it was called Diamond Heart Medicine Wheel. And I had first just started going there. I was very new to the experience. And that's where I experienced my first releasing ceremony. And so those of you who know what a releasing ceremony is, you write your thoughts down on paper, all the things that you want to let go of in your life that's no longer serving, and then it gets burned in the fire. And there was probably a good 30 people that were there. And I only knew like 1 or 2 people. I was very new to going here to that, to the medicine wheel. And after this, we were done. We were all just sitting around, chatting, visiting, getting to know each other, sharing food and drink, when all of a sudden this big booming male voice blurted out, "Somebody's soul wants to be drummed over, who is it?" And everybody kept talking. And I was like, what? Like that kind of piqued my interest. And then I heard it again, only a little bit more impatient this time. "Somebody is asking to be drummed over, who is it?" And I heard inside my head, "It's me." And I was like, oh my gosh. And I got really nervous because I'd never experienced anything like this before. And so I didn't ask. I was hoping that somebody else would raise their hand and say it was them, but they didn't. So then the third time, very impatient voice, he said it again. "Whose soul is asking to be drummed over? Speak now." And I'm like, "Me?" A little squeaky voice, "Me, it's me." And of course he asked why I hadn't responded right away. And I told him I was new to it, never experienced anything like this before. And so then he softened. And this person, some of you out there, if you're from Anchorage or Bethel, you may know of him. His name was George Prince. It's the first time I ever met him. He is an indigenous drummer from Alaska. I'm not sure what tribe he's from. If anybody knows, please let me know. I would love to be accurate with that. Some have said possibly Inupiq or Yupik, I'm not sure. So anyway, he told me that, he explained the process, so this is the first time I've ever been drummed over, and he asked me to choose a place to go on the land to receive the drumming. So we went to the lower yard, and it was away from all the people, so it was a little more private. And I saw the, what was it? It was an old abandoned sweat lodge. It was just the shell of it that was left, just the branches because it was a more like a traditional one that was made out of, I don't know, branches of some sorts, but it was all kind of like weaved together. But it wasn't used anymore, so the weeds were all kind of growing up inside of it. And that's where my heart tugged for us to go. So we went inside of it, and I sat cross-legged in the front part of it. It was a very small shelter, and he kneeled behind me and started drumming. And like I said, I was very nervous, first time I've ever experienced anything like that, and so I just told myself to breathe. So I took a couple of deep breaths, and he was doing the drumming, and I was like, oh, this feels really good, this feels really nice. Well, then all of a sudden, the spider starts crawling on my hand, and I like spiders. I mean, for me now, the spiders represent the grandmothers, but I still don't like them crawling on me, and especially then, because I was new to the connection that we have with everything, and so I was pretty freaked out about it, but I kept telling myself to calm down, enjoy the experience. The spider's not going to do anything. And the whole time George was drumming over me, the spider was crawling up my arm. I mean, and when he finished drumming, it was on top of my shoulder. And I just did my best to relax into it. It was like I'd shift back and forth between going, oh my gosh, there's a spider on me, to, oh my God, this feels amazing. And so when it was over with, he said, well, how do you feel? And I said, that was great, that was amazing. I said, but could you do me a favor? He goes, what? I go, well, there's a spider on my shoulder. Could you flick that thing off? He goes, yeah, there's no spider. And I go, what? Yeah, there is. I felt it. There's a spider on my shoulder. And I looked, and there was nothing there. And I said, he goes, why do you think there was a spider there? And so I explained to him how when he first started drumming, the spider had crawled up my arm the entire time and stopped right up there. And he said to me, you have spider medicine, you are here to help weave the world, and you will do so by being a storyteller. You are a storyteller, and you'll help others through your stories. So anyway, that's how that activation happened. Of course, I didn't know really the significance of what he was talking about then. And those of you who've had appointments with me know that, and classes, that I teach and share through my personal experiences, my personal stories. I've had some pretty amazing experiences, and I like to share them because I want you to see what's possible for all of us, for all of you. That it's not just me. We all have the capability to tap into the more that's around us, and it's up to us, to each one of you as an individual, to decide that you want that more and to activate that energy. And so anyway, I just wanted to start with that little story. It's been a long time. I had not thought about it for a long time. And it just came up recently within the last couple of weeks. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's right. And so I feel like I have reached this stage in my life where I am now in the grandmother phase. Well, I don't have any children. I do have children. I meant grandchildren. I have 2 beautiful children. But now I'm at that stage where it's time for me to use my womb to help create the new earth. And it's time for the women to step up and help usher in the new frequencies. And they're here. And there is, I'm sure a lot of you are already aware of this, there is really a spiritual war going on. And a war that's trying to keep us separate from each other instead of united. All I can say is we're all connected. Every single one of us. We all come from the same source. We all bleed the same blood. And if it's getting to be too much, or you find yourself being too focused on the craziness that's going on in the world, then just disconnect and breathe and focus on what you desire. What kind of world do you want to live in? Do you want to live in a world of war? Or do you want to live in a world that's filled with joy and love and co-creation and sharing and just this beautiful, vibrant energy? So anyway, something to think about. All right, well, that's it for today. I will continue to post more stories as a storyteller, as a grandmother, as a spiritual medium, and a crystal goddess. So anyway, like, follow, and share my page, and let's get the word out. All right, much love to you all.